How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. Another Monday, another video. The past couple weeks I've been making Mondays my upload days. It's hard during the off season to make a whole bunch of videos for the week just because there's not a whole lot going on. But by the time the season starts, I obviously want to make at least 2 videos a week because we'll usually have about 2 games a week, especially when it's conference play. And then maybe even a little bit more if there's any other news to update you guys about the team. One thing I'm upset about is that there's still no schedule to see just yet. I know it's been hard for Hooten to schedule some games. Again, no Power 5 schools probably this year. I think he's still looking to, get 2 or 3 more schedules out. I know a couple other teams in our conference like Delaware have released their schedule, but I believe there's also a lot of other teams that haven't been able to release their schedules. I feel like a lot of mid-major schools are having hard times scheduling home games against, quality opponents. A lot of times, like the Aggies, they have to schedule against non-D1 schools from the state that they're playing in. So for our instance, obviously New Mexico. So schools like Northern New Mexico, University of Southwest, Western, Highlands, even Eastern, whatever it may be. It's good to get those home wins and get some guaranteed wins, but at the same time, you also want to play some quality opponents. So I know who decided about playing some high mid-major schools based on what I've heard. I haven't talked to him directly, but I've talked to guys who work for the Aggies and have kind of given me a little bit of intel. Speaking of intel, I don't want to make it 100% true because I'm not 100% sure how true it is. But I was talking to some guys I know Marvin Cox personally, and they just told me that he pretty much quit, didn't want to be on the team anymore, didn't really like the schedule of it. Apparently he was really busy. I'm not too sure the whole point to it. I'm not sure how true it all is, but I mean hopefully he's just doing his thing. I know his family was really, and his friends were really happy for him to play Division I basketball. Obviously, he redshirted last year, so I was really hoping that he would kind of stay with it and hopefully, get some minutes eventually. But apparently, he just was kind of tired of it all based on what I heard. Again, I don't want to make any assumptions. That's just what I've heard from other people, so don't quote me on that. If I find out for sure, like if I talk to the guy personally, he tells me he's okay with me talking about it on the YouTube channel, then I definitely go for it. But that's just what I've heard. I know I talked about it in a couple videos ago, maybe even the last video too. I can't remember exactly on the top of my head, but our jerseys are looking really clean. Even our practice jerseys look really nice. They look very similar to our game jerseys from last year. They might even be the same ones. And then our new game jerseys, we have crimson, which looks really nice. It says NM State. There's some Lobo fan on Twitter trying to hate on that, like, oh, they have to say NM State because they didn't want to spell out New Mexico. I'm like, bro, like that's just how we've always been. It just always says NM State. That's just easier to read, is how it goes. You could just make the same assumption if you're saying, UNM, like you don't want to spell out that, or NMSU, you don't want to spell New Mexico. Like we all know what it is. Nice jerseys, Lobo fans are kind of crazy. Sucks to be awesome this past week, but I think we have a good chance of beating them basketball, especially being at home. And I feel like we just have the better team overall. Not by much, but I think we do have the slightly better team, and I think it'll be a good game regardless. Rival games always go crazy, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, November 15th will be one of our first games, probably our 3rd or 4th game of the season. I want to talk a little bit about Robert Carpenter and his play overseas for BC Luella. He's played in 3 games. He's averaging 14.3 points, 8.3 rebounds, a steal a game, shooting the ball really well, 80% from the line, 50% from 3, 67% just from 2s itself. So his field goal percentage is probably somewhere in the low 60s. So overall, he's shooting the ball very well, doing it at a high level, just like he did here for the Aggies. I feel like both years he was with the Aggies, he started the year off really strong, and the year off strong too, but somewhere in the midway point wasn't doing as well. So I'm hoping he's just consistent throughout. It's really hard to do so though. I mean, you look at Christian Cook last year, it just really takes a tear on your body a lot of times for a lot of players in every sport. So that's the biggest thing, is consistency. I know head coach Tony Sanchez of the football team, that's something he's preached a lot. By the way, I was in the press conference today again for football, so you should go check that out. The new one for this week for Sam Houston. Around the 8:58 mark is when I asked my question, so y'all should go check that out. His most recent game, he had 19 points, 10 boards, 3 steals. Shot the ball well from all over the field, again from the free throw line too. I believe they're 1-2 to start the year, and he only has 1 assist on the year, which is his last game. So he has his career high in assists with 1. You never know. He was not really the type of guy to get a whole lot of assists. That's not really his role. It's not that he's a ball hog and doesn't pass the ball, but it's like when he gets the ball, he's more of a catch and shoot type player. Go to work. We usually set him up, with the Aggies, or I'm sure with BC Luella. They set him up for a lot of good looks. Like when he gets the ball, it's mainly for him to score, not for him to get assists. But I'm sure his assist numbers will go up throughout the year. Deontay Bostic also made his professional debut pretty recently for Potacedric. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct or not. It's really hard to pronounce these overseas names. I know I can say BC Luella pretty well, and I've heard other people pronounce it the same way, so I think I'm good on that. But Deontay had 13 points in his opening game, so that's really good. More than he averaged for the Aggies, less than what he averaged at Northridge. Averaged 15 over there and about 6.5 for us. So finding the good balance, had 3 steals as well. So him and Robert Carpenter both playing great defense. I'm sure Coach Hooten would love to see that. He didn't have a block, and Robert Carpenter hasn't had a block in 3 games either. He had some pretty good blocks with the Aggies. Nothing like Jonathan Kenyanga, like whenever it was coaching his first year. But both these guys can get done on the defensive end, whether it's blocking shots or stealing. A lot of it, comes on the defensive end when it comes, getting a lot of steals, snatching it. He had an assist and a couple rebounds as well. So overall, solid game for him. Really happy for him and proud of him, and hopefully he just continues to improve it and play well. He played in the DBT, was second on the team in scoring. I believe he led the team in scoring that first game with 12 points. So overall, he's just improving a lot, and a lot of his buckets are going to come in the paint. He's not the worst shooter in the world, but it's just not his go-to move. He's not like a Christian Cook type player. He's more of a slasher, gets to the rim, scores at will. Kind of reminds me of Denny Avdia for the Blazers, which in the NBA, they're having their media days today. I believe the Aggies had theirs pretty recently. I'd love to like try to interview some more guys, whether I'm able to just interview them for the YouTube channel or just interviewing them like post-game or press conferences for the week. And obviously, I'll definitely upload that for you guys. Probably more content I can do. Maybe get back in the mix of doing some shorts videos, even at the games too, if I'm able to record. But I also might be working at some of the games, so it might be kind of hard for me too. We'll just see how it goes. Phoenix Woodson is the newest member of the Aggie program, another incoming freshman for next year, part of the class of 2026. 6'8" power forward, plays very well, has played some elite competition, he's played some AAU ball, so he's a guy that's going to come in and hopefully dominate at a high level. It might take him some time, obviously coming in as a freshman, and next year we're going to have like 3 or 4 freshmen right off the bat, and we have hopefully Gabe and Jacoby come back as juniors for next year, and then we have some freshmen this year. And Augustine Ekwe and Omer Smith, that will be sophomores. So I feel like we're gonna have a really young team next year. I think this year is a little mix of both, and I feel like next year we're gonna have a younger team, but we'll also have a lot of older guys too. I like the balance that coaching goes for, because you're always gonna want to get some returners. But especially in this day and age, there's always people leaving. But I feel like if we can consistently have 4 to 5 returners, if not maybe a little bit more, that'd be ideal. And then you have older guys coming in, so we have that balance of maybe like 4 to 7 freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and then the other half are seniors. And I feel like that's a good balance to find. That way you're getting talent each year. I haven't been able to find out any information on when Christian Cook's season starts overseas, but Peter Vrlobovic also made his debut, which I should probably make an Instagram post about, because I just found that out right now that he did have a game a few days ago. Had 11 points, 5 boards, which seems good, but he also had 5 turnovers, had a steal, had an assist, did a little bit of everything. Hopefully he just kind of cleaned the turnovers up. His team did lose Kopasvari. Again, it's hard to pronounce these names. That's where he's from. He very familiar with playing there. So I'm sure as time goes on, he'll be more confident in what he does. I think they played another few games. I'm not sure if he played in them or not. I'm not sure if he was hurt or not, or if he just wasn't in the lineup yet, or maybe he, because he had just signed there not too long ago. So I'm not sure it's all going. And again, maybe he's played more games. I just haven't found anything just yet. It's kind of hard to find those stats all online. For Peter, though, once he gets in more games and stuff, I'm sure he'll develop and play well overseas. Again, it's a style of play that he's used to. For Christian Cook, I'm sure he'll succeed as well. I was talking about it with some friends the other day. As long as you have a shot, a lot of times you're going to be on the basketball court for the most part. And Christian Cook can do a lot more than just shoot. His defensive numbers, they don't always show him the stat sheet, but when you watch the game, he passes the eye test, as I've said multiple times. Defends his tail off. And a lot of times when his shot was off toward the end of the season last year, or just at different moments in the season, he would always make up for it at the defensive end. There wasn't one game where he wasn't giving it his all. So that's why I respect that Cook, and I'm sure he'll do well overseas because of that. That's going to close out for the video today. Again, if there's any news on a schedule or anything big, I will definitely make a video about it. In about a month, I'm sure we'll have a scrimmage, and so maybe that'll be announced as a video I can talk about. And then, we'll have the real game start November 3rd. And then we have a lot of games in November. I think they said we have 28 or 29 games scheduled. Just got to get those last couple. And then college basketball might move into 32 games the following year, so might make scheduling a little bit tougher because you got to get that extra game. Really hoping we get a schedule coming out soon. Mondays always seem to be the days for that, so maybe today will be the day, and I'll make a video about it later this week. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, though, and I'm out.